Hi, my name is Joey Papa. I'm a coffee consultant, and today we're going to learn how to make tea without bitterness. Now, a lot of people avoid drinking tea and even coffee because of its bitter flavor, but there are certain things that you can do and choices you can make to make sure that your tea isn't very bitter. Now, a few of those things that you can do is one, to not brew green tea or black tea. Now, even if you really enjoy black tea or green tea, you can still make them and add some cream and sugar to them to deaden down the bitterness. But if you want to make sure that your tea isn't bitter at all, you can use herbal tea that has fruit flavors in it. So a berry tea, a mango tea, something along those lines that will keep away from bitter flavors to begin with and more on the sweet side. Now, if you do want to make yourself just a plain old cup of tea, black tea, and you don't want it to be as bitter, you could use, like I've already mentioned, our two best ways to deaden down that bitterness is with cream and sugar. Both of those things can help remove virtually almost all of the bitterness from it. So we're going to make a cup of tea today just to demonstrate this. We're going to take a plain old black tea, which is your normal tea that you would brew at home. We're going to add our tea bag to our teacup here. And one thing to keep in mind is that another way to avoid bitterness in tea is to not over steep it. And all steeping means is that when the tea bag is sitting in the hot water, it's infusing into the water. If you leave that tea bag in the water for too long, then the tea can become extremely bitter. Okay, so we're going to take our hot water, and this is boiling hot water, and we're going to pour it over the top of the tea bag, making sure that the tea bag becomes submersed into the hot water. Now again, depending on the type of tea you're making, you want to make sure you're allowing it to steep for the proper amount of time. Today we're making black tea, so we're only going to let it steep for about a minute. Make sure you keep your eye on the time, because if you go over a minute, it could become extremely bitter. And green tea is another tea that also can become very bitter very quickly. Once you've steeped that for the time that is recommended on the package of the tea bag, you're then going to want to take the tea bag out. You can use your spoon to get out some excess of the tea from the bag, and then you're going to discard that tea bag. To cut the bitterness down, we're going to add about 2 to 3 teaspoons of sugar to the beverage, and we're going to add some milk. Again, these two elements will really help to deaden down the bitterness that is in tea, and will help it to become more sweet, creamy, and delightful for you. One last thing you want to keep in mind when trying to deaden down the bitterness in tea is to not let your tea sit for too long. You want to make sure also, after you've completely brewed the beverage and you've put your cream and sugar in there, that you drink your tea immediately and you don't let it sit there for 20 minutes before drinking it, because that also can add a sour or bitter taste to the beverage. Again, my name is Joey Papa. I'm a coffee consultant, and today we learned how to deaden down that bitterness in tea.